y'all. Good morning. Oh, I love to hear it. Welcome to our Monday programming here at the Cultivation stage. My name is Megan Meredith. I'm the Director of Leadership and Organizational Training at American Farm Bureau, and I will be your host for all of the sessions today. And boy, do we have a good one to kick us off. It feels like the Super Bowl of our sessions here on the Cultivation stage, our Young Farmers and Ranchers Final Four competition. Are we excited? Yeah! Well, we're very excited to kick it off, and I'm not going to waste any of our time. We got to dig into this thing right now. So I'll call to the stage our room moderator, or room chair, Tommy Salisbury, to kick us off. So let's give a round of applause for Tommy.
Good morning. Welcome to the Final Four round of the American Farm Bureau Young Farmers and Ranchers Discussion Meet. I am Tommy Salisbury of the American Farm Bureau Federation Young Farmers and Ranchers Committee from the state of Oklahoma. I will be serving as room chair for this round. At this time, please turn off your cell phones. Also, please keep distractions as minimal as possible to allow for full concentration by the competitors. In the event of continual distractions, it may be necessary to ask you to leave. Farm Bureau's strength depends on its members' ability to analyze agricultural issues and decide on solutions that best meet their needs. The discussion meet is a competition designed to build these crucial skills in young, active farmers and ranchers. By participating, members build basic discussion skills, develop a keen understanding of important agricultural issues, and explore how groups can pool knowledge to reach consensus and solve problems. The discussion meet is designed to replicate a committee meeting where participants explore a topic and ways to address it. These issues are challenging and complex. The brightest minds in agriculture are still working through solutions to these issues. So we're not expecting one solution to be presented and selected during this time. Rather, we are expecting these competitors to bring forth varied ideas and potential solutions and work together to ensure the most accurate information is shared to move this issue forward. Like at a typical committee meeting, and are not expecting judges to fact-check the competitors throughout the discussion. Although competitors are expected to use reputable sources when preparing for this competition and demonstrate a strong and factual analysis of the topics, judges are not expected to be experts on the topic discussed and are not in a position to verify the information is factual or not. Rather, judges are evaluating based on a rubric with the following sections: opening statement, analysis of topic or problem, problem solving and implementation, cooperative attitude, delivery, and closing statement. Serving as moderator for this round is Daniel Jones of the AFBF Young Farmers and Ranchers Committee from California. Serving as timekeeper for this round is Andy Whiten of the AFBF Young Farmers and Ranchers Committee from South Carolina. This year, 36 competitors began the discussion meet competitive event. The top 16 competitors advanced by using their cumulative rankings from round 1 and 2. The winner of each discussion of the Sweet 16 round has advanced to the Final Four. The judges, timekeepers, and competitors have been briefed as the rules of this competition. I yield control of this competition to your moderator, Daniel Jones.
Thank you, Tommy. We appreciate all of you taking the time to attend this competition. Competitors, remember you are not allowed to bring up any prepared notes and/or electronic devices, such as smartwatches and cell phones. Competitors, please come forward and take your position at the discussion table. Now that all competitors have been seated, writing is allowed. As our room chair has mentioned, the competitors have been briefed about the contest, and their general discussion should be directed toward each other. In my role as moderator, I will not attempt to control or direct this discussion. Remember, the discussion is meant to resemble a committee meeting with the end goal of determining possible solutions to the question at hand. This models the grassroots policy development process, and some statements may not reflect approved AFBF policy. This is not a panel discussion with an active moderator. As such, I will not intervene unless I need to do so or until disparaging or inappropriate remarks are made. Therefore, competitors should moderate and conduct themselves in a cooperative and congenial manner. The question for this round is, Farm Bureau offers a diverse range of member benefits at the state and national levels. What strategies can be implemented to ensure members are fully informed about the savings on products and services available to them? Additionally, how can young farmers and ranchers leverage these industry relationships to strengthen local partnerships and increase utilization of these discounts to keep their operations running smoothly? The competitors for this round are Brady Anderson, Cody Burke, Lindy McMillan, and Cade Hill. We will begin this discussion with 30-second opening statements from each competitor. Following the opening statements, there will be 30 minutes of open discussion, followed by 1 minute of quiet time for the competitors to prepare their 1-minute closing statements. Official time is kept by the timekeeper, and I will call time at the conclusion of each period when competitors are required to stop. Competitors, in voluntary order, please make your 30-second opening statements. Please stand and direct your opening statements to the audience. The timekeeper will indicate when your 30 seconds have elapsed by holding up a red card. You may begin.
Picture this. A Farm Bureau family rolls into Anaheim in their Ford pickup, checks into a Choice hotel, comes to the trade show, and their kid runs around on a Case tractor, and later they go to Disneyland on a discounted ticket. This is an example of a family maximizing the value of their Farm Bureau membership. But are we doing that? I'm excited today to discuss how Farm Bureau can help its members maximize the value of their membership through leveraging strategic partnerships and benefits.
As a young farmer and a father, I'm the provider for my family. I'm always looking for ways to save a dollar and add value to my operation. Farm Bureau member benefits allow me to do both. The key to utilizing member benefits is leveraging relationships with our industry partners at the local level. I look forward to finding ways that we can do that today.
In Rigby, Idaho, there's a girl whose dad is a farmer. She never missed a travel softball game, not because farming made him wealthy, but because he could make it happen. A hotel discount through his Farm Bureau member benefits turned trips that would have been impossible into family memories. Unfortunately, the majority of our members are striking out when it comes to using their member benefits because of lack of awareness. I'm eager to explore how we can help them hit a home run.
Ten years ago, I attended my first Farm Bureau event as an FFA member. It was there when I was encouraged to join Farm Bureau. Initially, I thought, why? What's in it for me? That's what our discussion needs to be focused on today. There is a problematic relationship between membership decline and benefit facilitation. Solutions, while challenging, start with a redesign of member benefit portals and the identification of high needs benefits like AFBF, provided health insurance.
You have heard the opening statements. Competitors, please direct your open discussion to your fellow panel members now.
Just
Well,
a
I think
few
as we
weeks
begin
ago,
this
I had a
conversation,
family event that I went to. Cody, sorry to cut you off there, but it was a birthday celebration for my wife's grandfather's 88th birthday. And her grandfather really likes pizza and ice cream. So my wife's aunt purchased an ice cream cake from the local Dairy Queen, and she purchased pizza from the local restaurant. She had me go and pick it up and deliver it because I was closer. And as we were enjoying dinner that night, I brought up to my aunt, my wife's aunt, I said, hey, did you use your Farm Bureau discount to get 10% off of that pizza and 10% off of the ice cream cake? She looked at me with extreme perplexion and confusion. Just this idea of, what do you mean I get a discount for being a Farm Bureau member at these restaurants? This is a very well-respected farm family in our community. They have been Farm Bureau members for years and active in YF&R programs like we are doing today. Unfortunately, they also represent the nearly 300,000 members Farm Bureau.
Are we looking at member benefits in a wrong way and missing the mark? I think the question to ask is, what's the purpose of a member benefit? What's the goal of a member benefit? And in my mind, is it a recruitment tool, or is it an existing benefit for existing members to utilize and leverage, like the ice cream, like the Pizza Hut? And the reason I ask that is because when someone wants to join Farm Bureau that's not a member, they might ask, well, why? Because of the member benefits. If you go to the American Farm Bureau website, where are the member benefits listed? Under the join page, as if that's an enticement to join. So it's almost as if we're utilizing these as a recruitment tool. But really, is this a recruitment tool? Or my question to you all would be, is this a benefit for current members to utilize and leverage on their operation?
Cody, I totally agree. And I think that people aren't joining for the member benefits. I certainly didn't. Did you? I think that people are joining for the ice cream sundae of being in Farm Bureau, and that our member benefits are just the cherry on top that come along with it. You know, a couple months ago when I was studying for my state competition, the number I had memorized was 5.9 million members. In our most recent data, we've dropped to 5.4. I don't know if the causation of that is member benefits or lack of awareness around it, but it certainly doesn't hurt to improve in this area. And so I'm excited that we're already sharing ideas of why we're missing the mark here. Lindy, I'm curious to hear why you think this is a topic today.
I love that we're starting with questions, because I think that's the right place to start. And I think there's an additional question that we need to ask. To your point, Brady, and your striking out. Why are we striking out? Is it because we're striking out in what we're offering? I think the right question to ask is, what do our members want? As I prepared for this competition, I talked to a lot of different counties, and there's one county who told me that their most popular local benefit is oil changes. On our state level, our most popular one is travel and entertainment. Probably not what you expect from a farm organization, right? But it's reflective of the diverse type of membership that we have in Farm Bureau. We have voting members involved in production, and it's important to not forget the associate members who may or may not be involved in production, and what are the needs that they have that we can address. I think Farm Bureau would be well served to spend time polling its members. We have text channels, we have emails. Let's poll our members, see what they want, and then prioritize our benefit partners around their needs. And I think it also provides a great opportunity to, a year, 2 years as their membership goes on, check in and see, what have you used? Because I don't think we have great metrics around that today.
And Lindy, if I could build upon that problem that you've just shared. So we've identified a really good problem with maybe our professional members or our non-farming members. But what about our local members who are deeply enthralled in production agriculture? We are the voice of the American farmer, right? I think a big problem that lends itself back to maybe the second part of this question is, how do we engage with local partnerships? And Cody, this goes back to kind of what you shared, those local connections to bring the most value to our members through member benefits. I think of a problem that exists for a lot of rural families and people involved in agrarian life. Lindy, I think you have a family. Cody, I think you have a family as well. Childcare is a huge issue. There are 60% of rural families live in what would be known as childcare deserts. And the point that I'm getting back to here is, are we giving the right benefit for our rural families through local connections to support being involved in the farm? And I think that's another problem that we really need to explore here in the second part of this question is, how do we partner with those local services? Do we need to get involved with local healthcare and childcare professionals to offer these things? And Brady, I'd really be interested to hear your perspective on that. Is there anything like that that exists in Idaho?
Yeah, we're lucky. You know, Idaho, we're known for potatoes and not much else. But I'm proud to be known for ag in our state, and our communities really embrace that. Our local soda shop, we also drink a lot of soda. That's maybe another thing we're known for. Our local soda shop, during harvest, they offer free drinks to all the producers that come through the line, and that's one way that we see our community supporting us. And each of you plan to take this topic back and build some of those. Each of you plan to take this topic back and build some of those opportunities in those communities.
Yeah, Kate, I'd like to answer that question. My wife and I, our rural health care is my mother-in-law. She's here right now with our daughter, so that's how we handle that. But all jokes aside, I think there is definitely the first part of this is definitely about maybe recruitment and trying to get our member benefits in front of folks, but the second half is definitely about relationship building. And I think to allude to what you just first started with is we've got to change the dynamic of how we look at member benefits. And to really talk to that point, I'm afraid that we view member benefits, even at the local level, as transactional. And they are, you know, it is you scratch my back, I scratch yours. You know, if I promote your product, you provide our services with our members with a service or a discount, and that's fine. But I think to cross that mark, we need to switch from being transactional and be relational and build relationships at the local level with these partners. And when you talk about, you know, Lindy, you mentioned this at the local level. That's kind of the heart of member benefits, I think, is you mentioned the oil changes and the state benefits. And as a full-time farmer, that goes a lot farther with me. And so what are some state benefits, state-specific or even local-specific benefits that you guys use in Kansas?
I'd love to almost take a step back. I think before we discuss the types of benefits, I wonder if our members have the tools at the local level that they feel ready to ask. In our state, I think we do a great job at the national level of having great member benefits. I think at most state levels, we have great state level member benefits. In my state, in the counties and the districts that exist within it, there's varying levels of success of local benefits. We have some areas that have really great local benefits that are utilized by their members, and we have a lot of counties and districts that have either very minimal or non-existent local member benefits. And in talking with a county coordinator in a really successful county that has great member benefits utilized, she expressed to me that what she thinks differentiates them is the personal ask that her board members make, to your point about relationships, to the businesses that they use, and asking them. And it makes me wonder, are we giving our local boards the right information that they need to ask the questions? And what type of benefits should we be asking for locally? I think a lot of counties already put their members through Farm Bureau University. It's a great tool to train our grassroots members. I think there's an opportunity to perhaps add a module within that already existing platform of how do we ask the questions, how do we show the mutual benefit that can come from a benefit partner's relationship with us, and then also what types of benefits are worth asking for, what is working in other places. I think training is a great area of opportunity that AFBF could provide for our counties. I'm curious what you think is creating successful local member benefits in the areas that you live in.
Yeah, Lindy, I'd love to add on to that. And I think you bring up a great solution potentially for our conversation. And I think right now we're still kind of in this problem discovery piece of our conversation and our discussion. So let's try to maybe bring up that solution later on the education piece. Very valuable. I appreciate you bringing that up. To kind of go back, Cody, you talking about those local partnerships and relationships. And Lindy, you're talking about how do we access those and how do we actually make those work and make them available to our local farmers. Something that I find really interesting is that of all the farmers in the U.S., 84% of them are involved in some type of endeavor off the farm, whether it be a personal business, a side gig, maybe they work for another company. Are we leveraging those members to offer other potential benefits to our companies. That could be the next AFBF member.
And there's someone on the other side and we're on this side. And if the other person isn't on the other side, the job's not going to get done. We both need to be getting benefit and putting work into a partnership. And I think sometimes in our relationships with partners, maybe we're not coming around on the other end and providing that added benefit to them. I've got local kids in my community that come to me all the time and say, will you sponsor my basketball team? Will you pay for the Rodeo Queen Clinic? And I'm always glad to, but I then ask them, what's your plan with this? What's the pitch? Where is the benefit coming to me and my business? And I think we need to take that analogy and bring it to Farm Bureau. You know, Florida is doing a great job at this. They actually recognize a partner every year at their convention. They've got a Ford dealership that went above and beyond to make sure the Florida members got their discount at their dealership. They were aware of it. They were prepared to accept it. And so they brought them in and recognized them as being someone that's pulling ahead, the cream of the crop in their partnerships. And I think that might be one way that we not only appreciate what they do and go at that log sawing with them, but also recognize when they go above and beyond for us.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
I love it. Go ahead.
I agree that local benefits are great. We've spent some time talking about that and would maybe like to explore that a little bit more. But Kate, I think you made a good point as we kind of move into some solutions here. I don't think there's a thing in the world wrong with leveraging our national partnerships at a local level. You know, here we are sitting around and you know, Case is right over here and Ford's right back here and John Deere. And I think the way that we do that is with the relationship piece that we've been talking about. And I know that for me personally, as a full-time farmer, you know, I'm on my local board, I'm on my state board of young farmers and ranchers, and that local relationship, building those relationships with your actual dealers. And again, kind of I scratch your back, you scratch mine. I'm sending folks, I'm encouraging folks at the local level to go see the Case dealer, go see the John Deere dealer, and take advantage of those discounts on a lawnmower or a tractor, whatever it is. But the benefit doesn't lie in those discounts. The benefit for me as a farmer lies in when that relationship turns into a friendship with that dealer. And I've seen that firsthand. I'm not speaking hypothetically. You know, as a young farmer, there's been instances where I've got 100 acres of hay down and rain's coming and I'm broke down because I'm a young farmer and all I can afford is junky equipment. So I'm broke down quite a bit, if I'm being honest.
Thing ever.
And like I said, if that relationship that I've already built with those national partners at the local level, if I'm able to go to them and they're a friend now, and I pick up the phone and I say, look, I'm broke down, I need this part and I need it in a hurry. If I'm a stranger, they're probably going to beat around the bush. But if I'm a friend and I'm a partner with them, they're going to be more apt to shoot me straight and say, look, I've got that part, but it's 3 stores away. I'll pull some strings. I'll try to get it to you as quick as I can. Or just a simple, no, I can't get to you, you know. And that's okay, but I need to know that so that I can then pick up the phone and call my neighbor, Don Jesse, and say, hey, Don, come roll my hay for me. I'm broke down and they can't get me going again. So I guess the question I would ask is, how do we take even these national member benefits and leverage them at the local level for our farmers and members?
Cody, I think you bring up an interesting point in talking about relationships, and I think we would be remiss to miss the state level of relationships as well. I was talking with a member in my state recently about where is the most value that she gets out of her Farm Bureau membership. Sure. And we all think of member benefits as discounts, but there's a lot of benefits beyond that. And something that she shared with me, we all spent a lot of time yesterday talking about farm succession. People in her family were getting married, and she had some questions around how they could protect the legacy through prenups and other legal documents. And if she would have picked up the phone to call her attorney, there's a $150 billable hour like that. But leveraging the network that she had with the subject matter experts that we have on the state level, our legal counsel, gave her the answers that she needed for free. And I think we often forget that those are resources that we have as members of Farm Bureau as a benefit. And we, as members, need to talk about that. We need to make sure that we know and we're sharing with others that those subject matter experts are available to all of us. It's not just about the discount, it's about the whole picture of value.
I think
and Lindy,
we need to
go ahead, Brady.
Go for it.
Thank you, I appreciate it. I was just going to say, kind of building off of that piece, protection of no taxes paid on benefits our members receive. So if you think, right now we get a certain credit or a certain kickback for purchasing Case IH equipment, or we get a certain value and a $500 credit from Ford, I think where we're really missing a point in the policy book is that protection piece. And I think as we move into solutions, we should talk about it, but it's a problem. We don't like to pay taxes. No one likes to pay taxes. We know it's a very sure thing in life. Ben Franklin tells us death and taxes are very sure in life, but I think Farm Bureau can be that protection piece and that kind of work back and forth, saw the log piece to make sure that we protect those benefits and also open up another opportunity in the future to grow those benefits. I know some of these benefits maybe don't qualify for the amount that would be taxed, but if we make sure that they won't be taxed in the future, who's to say those benefits couldn't grow and become larger and more valuable than they already are? Brady, what are your thoughts on that?
Oh man, Kate, I'm always for fewer taxes. The tax man is looming. He's coming to collect this quarter, and yeah, I think that's a great idea. I hadn't thought about that. I think it brings a new perspective to the conversation. I'm a data nerd. I'm in marketing by profession, and I think we'd be remiss to not talk about how this is also a marketing issue. I think there are so many solutions we could talk about that are marketing driven, and I'm curious to hear what those ideas that you bring to the table. I'll start with one of mine. I would love to see us do a membership Monday at the national, state, and local level, so that every Monday I'm seeing at least 3 posts reminding me of a various member benefit. Lindy, you mentioned training people at the local level. As far as I'm aware, Kansas has people at the local level that are specifically dedicated to member benefits. And so maybe we take those people in our counties, take them to a state training where we give them some, baseline marketing training about how they can be putting this content out. The average Farm Bureau account posts like every 19 days. The industry standard to be knockout with marketing is to be posting once a day, if not multiple times a day. So let's get them some training so we can boost those numbers. And I see that as one way that we can enable those local partners to be a little bit more confident in that role. We can also give them assets in maybe a Google Drive folder. Maybe they're not proficient with Canva and putting a graphic together, but maybe we could give them graphics from the national level, but then also develop it at the state level so that they're empowered to do that at the local level. Do you think this is an issue of marketing?
Brady, I completely agree, because it doesn't matter how great the benefits we have are if our members don't know they exist. Yeah. And our state's benefit director identified that as the biggest reason that she thinks the members we have that aren't using benefits don't use them is because they don't know about them. And in that conversation, she shared with me about the Farm Bureau benefit app. What's interesting is I've been a Farm Bureau member active for 15 years, and I did not even know that the app existed, right? That's a miss. And if I don't know about it, then my guess is that there's a lot of Farm Bureau members that don't know that it exists. But it's great. I popped it up when we got here to Anaheim and showed all the hotels, the Ford dealers that are near us. It's a wonderful tool that's not getting put in the hands of our members. I wonder if on the local level, there's an opportunity to maybe create a campaign for county farm bureaus to get their members to subscribe to the app. And then you have to put your membership number in, so we could track that pretty easily. And maybe states ought to give a county farm bureau an award for who had the greatest sign up, because if we get our members aware of the benefits, that's going to only continue to get them to maximize the value of
really quickly. I'll mention that California is doing that. They have a bingo card, and as counties check off that, they posted about a certain sponsor, they're able to put a dot on that bingo card, and the state then gives them a kickback and rewards that because they see it as such a benefit. Cody, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I think to try to pull a couple thoughts together here, I'm with Brady. I'm going to try to talk about taxes as little as possible, but I'd like to go back and talk about that a little bit. And what you said about how we have to think about in Kentucky is the use of social media and some specific promotions geared towards these member benefits. We've done a few with Ford, a few with Granger, and kind of try to tailor those around the specific times of the year. The Granger giveaway was a tool set around Father's Day, right? So it's kind of a seasonal, promotional. But some statistics along with that is our top 3 most interacted posts on social media, 2 of the 3 were our member benefit promotionals. The other one was Miss Kentucky. You can't compete with her. So, but there were a member benefit post. So we just did some simple raffles. Like I said, if you put the post on there, and if you like or comment or share, then you're entered into this raffle, and then you win this Granger set of tools, which is really twofold because we're we're increasing, the viewership of these products, but then we're giving the products themselves away for people to utilize. And last year, we pay to sponsor these ads on social media. It cost us a little over $2,000, and we had nearly 1 million impressions, over 50,000 engagements, which is a like and a follow and a share. And that's just, where are you going to find a better bang for your buck when it comes to marketing, when it comes to seeing, getting as many eyeballs on your products as possible. So I was just curious. It's worked very, very well for us in Kentucky. What are some ways you guys are using social media to promote member benefits?
Cody, you make a really great point there, and I'd like to maybe stitch a few pieces of this together before I answer that question. We've covered a lot of problems here so far in this discussion, and I think what's great is now we're moving into that solutions piece, the most meat and potatoes part of this discussion. So we recognize that education about our benefits is a huge issue. We've recognized another problem, and that is activating local partnerships and the lack of local partnership utilization to get the word out about these benefits and make sure they're utilized. We've also talked a little bit about policy and how we can protect our members from having to pay any type of taxes on those benefits. But then we've also talked about, Linda, you brought it up there, how do we use our portals and our social media and our applications to deliver these benefits? And that goes back to your point, Cody, around social media and engagement. Now, I met my wife in college. I didn't meet her on any type of dating app, but something I have thought about is, what if we allowed our members to date their benefits? What if we created some type of Tinder type app or Bumble or farmersonly.com? I don't know what it may be. What if we created that for members who are trying to engage with their benefits through our organization, where they can identify their top interests, what's the most valuable to them, and then that application would then spit out and provide the appropriate benefits that are the most important to them. Because Brady, Cody, Lindy, we all do something different up here with our professional lives. We are different people. These benefits are different to each one of us. So I think that's maybe is one valuable solution we could get into. Lindy, I want to go back to your solution you brought up around education. What specific ideas do you have, or maybe a specific initiative that we could implement to educate our members more so about these benefits?
Yeah, I think it all comes down to training our local boards to be ready to have those conversations. But I'd love to bounce back to something you said, which is we need to know what our members want and stand in the gap. And I think of examples of states that have stood in the gap. You mentioned in your opening statement about how important healthcare is. And as a young farmer, that is one of the biggest topics that I hear in my peer groups is healthcare matters and the cost of healthcare is crippling. I'm fortunate that I live in a state that recognized that that was an issue for our members in Kansas. And so we replicated a program that Tennessee had already had in existence and offering a member health benefit to our members. And my mom is on it, and she told me last night thinks she saved $6,000 last year. She told me of a neighbor that she thinks saved $1,000 a month. Those are significant value back into our members' pockets on issues that matter to them. Yesterday in the general session, we heard one of the politicians talk about how important healthcare is, especially to self-employed young people, and the cost can be crippling. I think AFBF should empower states to explore programs to meet their members' needs, like Kansas and Tennessee have done in healthcare. Maybe healthcare makes sense to have in every state, because that's an issue that we are going to hear talked about on this trade floor for years to come if we don't solve it.
Yeah, how many of us have town jobs? Because that's one of our biggest issues. I think that's an excellent idea, and one that I hope is being listened to and that we see happen. And it touches on another thing I'd love to see happen. 12 national partners are awesome, but I would like to see some more white wells on that list. I'd love if I could save money every month on my Verizon bill. And I'm wondering if there are any more of those big white well national sponsors that members could really benefit at that big level.
Sure. Yeah. And I was actually looking through some benefits, Brady. There are some states that offer Verizon benefits, so I'm right there with you. My phone bill continues to go up, and I don't really know why, because I try to use the dang thing at least as much as possible. But Cody, would love to hear your thoughts. I think as we're getting into our 5 minutes left in this discussion here, we really need to get into that. What does Farm Bureau do to enact these solutions? What does our Farm Bureau, local county farm bureaus do to make these solutions realistic and relevant? So what are your thoughts on that, Cody?
Thank you, Cade, for that question. I completely agree. I think we're definitely getting into a point where we need to talk about implementing these solutions. We've got a lot of great ideas, whether it be education and utilizing member benefits at the local level, social media, and I think the implementation piece, and I would challenge us, I would challenge anyone in the crowd today, it goes back to the grassroots local level.
Yeah.
I serve on my local board. I serve as a state young farmer and rancher director. I'm the one that puts on the annual meetings at the county level. I'm the one that helps put on the state young farmer conferences and outings. We have to, when it comes to building relationships, when it comes to asking our members what we want, where do we find our members at? We find them at meetings. We're at a meeting right now. We as Farm Bureau members love to meet. We're not short on meetings. You know what I mean? So I challenge, I think the implementation piece is with us. And making sure that at the local level, at the state level, we're the ones making these decisions.
Right.
Going and making and building the relationships, inviting the sponsors and these member benefit folks to the meetings, to meet with our folks, to talk about their products, and then to maybe do some surveys and ask our folks, what is it that we need? We don't need to talk about what we offer you, but what do you need that we're not offering? So I think it's grassroots, I think it's local, I think that's how we implement change in member benefit.
Yeah, we talked about social media, and with that conversation comes influencers. I saw Gatlin here in the crowd, and we all see his content, creating content with Granny out in the field. And I think, yes, he has 2.4 million followers, but I have a circle of influence too. And like you said, taking this home to our local community, like the FFA Creed says, I believe in my ability to exert an influence in my home and community. And I think, like you said, it's taking this home and implementing it. My list of things I'm taking from this conversation is that we're going to expand training for our local partners, that we're going to continue to add value for our local partnerships, and that we're going to fix our marketing issue. Have I missed anything, or is there anything else we should make sure is on that list of action items?
Something I would add is I look around this trade show and I think, wow, we are giving great recognition to our national partnerships. And our state level, I think we do a really good job of that. But I wonder if we're doing a good job of that. We've discussed local is where it matters. Are we doing a good enough job at our local level to engage our partners and plug them into the programming that we already exist? I think that we need to be inviting our local benefits partners to our annual meetings to set up and get in front of our members and say, hey, did you know that we have this discount? You said, you had a family in your community that didn't even know it existed. So plugging them into the programming that we already have in existence and creating that mutually beneficial relationship of we get the awareness of the discounts and benefits available to us, and they get the promotion.
Yeah.
Time has been called. Please prepare your closing statements. I ask that the audience remain silent for 1 minute to aid the competitors in their preparation. Time. Please put down your pencils, and in voluntary order, please stand and share your 1 minute closing statement.
Whether it's a slice of pizza or buying a piece of equipment, it's clear to me from our conversation today that member benefits are at the core of what makes a Farm Bureau membership valuable to its members. We identified today several issues with our members not being aware of what our benefits are, and I think that marketing is at the key of it, whether it's through the app, social media, or other promotional channels. We need to make sure that every member in our organization knows the benefits and partnerships that exist within it. And then once they know about it, it comes to the onus of the local, national, and state members to identify the needs that exist within our communities and make sure that we're basing our member benefits around the needs that exist. But I leave today with a lot of ideas about how I can go home, talk to my local members about the benefits that are available to them, and make sure that I'm maximizing the value of my Farm Bureau membership. Thank you.
As a young farmer and a father, Farm Bureau membership benefits matter to me. They provide me with savings and security through relationships built with our sponsors at the local level. Today we've talked about some ways that we can increase the access, understanding, and utilization of these benefits. And some of those are trainings and educations with local and state boards of directors, building relationships with our member benefit providers, and utilizing social media to help market those promotions. At the end of the day, as a young farmer and a father, these benefits matter to me, and I challenge each and every one of us as young farmers and ranchers and county leaders to go home and build those relationships with our membership benefit providers.
Whenever I'd go over to my grandpa's house, I'd go look under his recliner, and I'd always find spare change. In my entire life, I thought it just fell out of his pockets, but I think he was putting it there on purpose, because he always used to tell me, Brady, a little bit goes a long way. I believe the solutions we've talked about today are the little bit that's going to go a long way. I'm going home and I want to see my local leaders trained on how to use social media. I'm going to build partnerships in my local community that benefit not only me as a Farm Bureau member, but the partner as well. And lastly, I'm going to continue to expand marketing and awareness, not only at the local, but the state and national level, and hope that each of us do that as well. Because as my grandpa said, that little bit goes a long way.
A dream without a plan, unfortunately, is nothing more than a wish. So, after our fruitful and valuable discussion this morning, what does that plan look like? We threw out a lot of ideas for different problems and solutions throughout our discussion. So for me, I remember that by an acronym of BEN. B-E-N. We need to bring better benefits to our members like healthcare and use better portals to do that. We need to educate our members about the opportunities that exist for local partnerships. And we need to network within our local county farm bureaus to make sure that we bring the best local partnerships, solutions, and benefits to our members. Let's bring members like Ben into our Farm Bureau organization.
Today's discussion surfaced a number of ideas to address this timely policy issue. The competitors are now encouraged to engage in the Farm Bureau grassroots policy development process to build upon the work of today's discussion. Let's show these competitors our appreciation for a job well done. At this time, I will return control of this competition to the room chair, Tommy Salisbury.
Thank you, Daniel, for a well-run competition. The judges for today's
and timekeeper, we appreciate your help this morning. We would now like each competitor to make a brief statement about themselves, their Farm Bureau experience, and their connection to agriculture in voluntary order.
Hi, my name is Lindy McMillan. I farm in western Kansas with my husband Matt, my son Clark, on a dryland row crop operation. We grow wheat, corn, and milo. And in my off-farm job, I'm the director of grain trading for Garden City Co-op, where I oversee grain merchandising for our 21 locations. Really excited to be here today. This was a super great conversation. Have been involved in Farm Bureau in some form or fashion for probably about the last 15 years. Started out as an ag ambassador on my county board, and most recently went off of my state's YF&R committee. But really appreciate Farm Bureau plugging into the issues that we care about and the opportunities for involvement it gives to us. And also just want to give a shout out. My husband, my mom, and my son are here, and I really appreciate them being here, and I'm glad for all the Kansas support as well. So thank you all for a great competition.
My name is Cody Burke. I'm from Kentucky. My wife and our little daughter, Joanna, we live there and farm in our state's capital. I'm a full-time farmer. We just have a commercial cow-calf operation. And then I also work part-time for the Kentucky Beef Network. It's kind of under the umbrella of the Kentucky Cattlemen's Association. I get to work as a facilitator and help farmers each and every day on their operations. I really enjoy the chance to do that. I've been involved in Farm Bureau really since high school in different state-specific programs. I guess technically my wife and I met there, so owe Farm Bureau quite a bit. But really, really happy to be here. Really thankful for this opportunity. And I want to echo what Lindy said. I absolutely could not have done any of this if it weren't for our state staff. We have the best state staff. They've helped in so many ways. So thank you all for that.
Good morning, everybody. I'll forego the buttoning of the jacket process for this one, but my name is Cade Hill, and it is such an honor to be able to represent my state up here on this stage with 3 other outstanding competitors and just people who understand the value in having the conversations, the discussions, and taking the difficult, challenging topics and coming to really good solutions on those topics. So thank you, all 3 of you, for allowing me to be a part of this with you. It's been a pleasure. My agricultural background and Farm Bureau background is a little unorthodox. I did not grow up on a family farm. I did not grow up really with any direct connection to agriculture. I've got a FFA emblem pin on my jacket right now, and I wear that as an ode to my experience in the National FFA organization. We all 4 were briefly speaking yesterday about experiences we had in FFA and how valuable that was for us moving into Farm Bureau. But I had 2 outstanding high school agriculture teachers who both invested their time and effort in me and helped me understand my passions and interests in the agriculture industry. They helped me recognize that. I started my professional career as a high school ag teacher and FFA advisor and eventually moved into working in agribusiness. I now work for Syngenta in East Central Illinois. I have to give a big shout out to, like you said, Cody, my Farm Bureau state staff, and I'll challenge you and say I think my state staff might be the best ones out there, but the support from all of Illinois these past few days has been outstanding. And the only other person that I really need to make mention of and thank here is my wife, Mackenzie. She's been here for every round with me. She's been handling me to make sure that I get to where I'm supposed to go and I wear my name badge and I don't get kicked out of the convention hall. So, but she truly is my #1 supporter, my #1 coach, and I owe most of this to her and the rest of my family. So thank you all for the opportunity, and I'll pipe down here and move on with you, Brady.
Well, they say iron sharpens iron, and I'm grateful for you guys and the opportunity it was to compete against you and to work with you and to get better and learn from you. Thank you guys so much. My name is Brady Anderson. I was the 8th generation Utahn until I got the Idaho upgrade a few years ago and married my husband. And now we have a small beef and bison meat direct-to-consumer business and a small Farm Bureau for this opportunity.
Thank you, competitors. The winner of the 2026 discussion meet will be announced during the closing general session later this morning. Thank you again to our competitive event sponsors, Ford, Case IH, American Ag, and Stanley Black & Decker. They make it possible for us to award over $200,000 in cash and prizes during the closing session. Please join me in a round of applause to show our appreciation to our outstanding sponsors. We appreciate your support of the Young Farmer and Ranchers program and hope you will attend the closing general session where we will announce the winners of all 3 of the 2026 Young Farmers and Ranchers competitive events. The closing general session here in the Anaheim Convention Center will begin at 11:30 a.m. There will be reserved seating for the final 4 discussion meet competitors. Thank you once again and have a great day. We appreciate your support of our competitors.
Thank you all so much for coming out and supporting our Final 4 in the discussion meet. Even though we are closing out this session, I highly encourage you to stick around because our next session is quite a doozy. We are going to have our CEOs from our youth leadership organizations come and share their insights of how to create a pipeline of our youth to farm Bureau members. So stick around for that. That will happen at 9:15 right here at the Cultivation stage. So stick around for that session. Thank you. Hello, folks, and welcome. Good morning. My name is Megan Meredith, and I'm the Director of Leadership and Organizational Training here at American Farm Bureau. And we are about to start our next session here on the Cultivation stage, which is called How to Engage and Empower Young Leaders, which will provide insights and best practices from our youth CEOs. So it's going to be quite a really fun session for us to learn about how we can tap into our youth, tap into their potential to help our communities and to help our organization. So without further ado, I'll bring up our moderator of this panel, which is Jessica Cabrera from American Farm Bureau. She is the this is a long title, so give me a moment. She is the Managing Director of Member Engagement and there you go. Farm State of Mind Press. So let's give it up for Jessica.
Good morning. Welcome, everyone. My name is Jessica Cabrera, as Megan said, and I'm excited to be here with you today. We are here to learn from the best about how to effectively engage and empower young leaders. Today's panelists are the CEOs of the nation's leading youth agriculture organizations, and they're here to share best practices for fostering youth involvement, strengthening membership, and leadership pipelines. Our hope is that this session will inspire you with ideas and strategies for engaging and empowering young people in Farm Bureau at the county and state levels. So please help me welcome our panelists for today. President and CEO of National 4-H Council, Jill Bramble. CEO of National FFA Organization, Scott Stump. CEO of Manners, Ebony Weber. President and CEO of Agriculture Future of America, Mark Stewart. Thank you for being with us today. This is such a fun crowd. If you guys have not met these folks, I would encourage you to do so. After this session, we're going to have a meet and greet in the AFBF booth, and so you can walk right over to the AFBF booth and you can meet them face to face and talk with them at that time. But this is just going to be a really great conversation to discuss something that I'm very personally passionate about, and that is just knowing your secrets. That's what I'm interested in today. So I'm hoping we can dig in and you can tell us all your secrets for youth engagement, your tips and your best practices for the great work that you do. But first of all, let's start off with hearing about your organization. So if you could start out telling us what your organization is and kind of the framework, because all of you have this very unique and interesting path in the youth agriculture organization space. And I'd like for you to share that with us today. So Jill, will you kick us off?
Absolutely. So 4-H is the youth development program of the nation's land-grant universities. We reach about 6 million young people from ages 5 to 18 every year and located in every county across America. It is an out-of-school time program. There are sometimes connections within the classroom, but primarily through after-school clubs and camps, helping young people find their spark, whatever they're interested in, and then providing adult mentors who can guide them into careers and in life so that they are beyond ready.
Great.
Yeah,
Scott?
So National FFA, FFA holistically at the state and local level, just over a million young people nationwide, and where our part in this system is we're school-based. So we start as early as 5th grade in some states, then move all the way through seniors in high school and pour skills, both technical around agriculture, and then the employability skills of leadership, personal growth, and career success to ensure that every student when they leaves high school is ready for that next step, whether that's employment, whether that is off to a post-secondary institution, whether that's to a skilled trade center. All of those are wonderful, viable paths, and then we do retain some of the members after they leave high school for their American degrees, other higher degrees and awards as they go.
Ebony?
Hi. So Manners is a unique organization is that one, you can be a member for life. So we definitely have programming that targets different age groups. Our program started early as middle school and goes all the way through collegiate students. And then, of course, we have our early career professionals and alumni that stay on for years until they decide to leave the industry. Our organization really is about a couple of things. One is dispelling myths about what agriculture is and what it is not. It is about creating access for young people, and we also are really mission-driven in terms of cultivating the now generation of leaders for the industry. And so a lot of our programming is really centered around a wraparound service of exposing young people to the industry, developing them, and giving them mentors that really helps to retain them in this field.
Good morning, everybody. Mark Stewart with Agriculture Future of America. We serve primarily college students and early career professionals, and we put on experiences that enhance three things. Soft skills, so we stay out of the technical skill space, but the life skills that people need to be good employees and good professionals. The enhancement of their professional network, so people, how to get connected with peers and professionals. And then the third thing is all around career exploration. So what's different about our organization, one, we're the youngest. We're celebrating 30 next year. And we do not have a membership. So the way that people engage with us, either at the college level or as professionals, is either compete through an application process to get selected or pay a registration as a professional to get engaged. So it's a little different structure. It's not based on a chapter structure or a membership structure. And part of that's by design. There are lots of clubs and organizations. We're trying to instill the types of skills that people will be more effective leaders in the clubs and organizations they're already a part of.
And I can say from a Farm Bureau perspective, because we have so many different young people, youth, adults that are involved in Farm Bureau from across the spectrum of agriculture, that we will often find people that have been involved in a myriad of organizations, right? So we'll have a young person who discovered agriculture through 4-H and then found out about what Manners was doing, and it was really speaking to their specific niche area, and we're able to develop further in that. We'll work with young people who either found agriculture or found their people through the FFA organization, and then later really want to continue to upskill in college and early career professional and go to AFA for their programming. And then all of that really leads into a continuous lifelong journey of leadership and engagement in Farm Bureau. So we're just really strong partners. You may not know, but American Farm Bureau has a memorandum of understanding, an MOU, with each of these organizations, and we work each year to manage that relationship and look at how we can mutually work together and benefit one another. And so you can do that too. You can do that at the county level and at the state level. You can work with your local organizations and you can say, hey, let's create a collaborative relationship so that we can work together to build one another up and make one another successful in our endeavors. So I really appreciate each of your organizations and what you bring to the table. Now, I have to say, we're here to talk about engagement and empowering young people, and you each have such quality programming, and the youth that you serve love it. I mean, these people create experiences and engagement that is like the drink the juice kind of experience. You know, they drink the juice and then they're in it for life. I mean, it is absolutely amazing. I actually mentor a young woman who really developed through the Manners program, and she's now getting her PhD at Purdue. And I am just so, I love that. There's so many people that I've worked with through this organization who are they just invest back in the organization because they love what you do so much. So we want to know how you do that. We need to know how do you do that, and how can we do that better, and how can we do that in a way that it partners and collaborates with you guys. So starting out, let's do the highlight reel, because we do live in the age of social media, right? So people just like to get a good highlight reel to know whether or not they're interested. If you would give me your highlight reel out of all of the engagement opportunities that your organization offers, what is the one you believe engages young leaders most, and why? I'll start with you, Mark.
Sure. So as irony has it, this morning I was on a call with almost 45 student leaders that we've selected, and this is their kickoff meeting. So it's a virtual kickoff. It's a role that we call an ambassador role. There are lots of organizations that have ambassadors. They're usually self-serving, promote membership, promote involvement in our organization, and that's kind of what it is for us. But what I told them this morning is the best role that they can play is to challenge perspectives of young people on their campuses. Not just about things that they can be involved in our organizations, but about career paths, about the opportunities that are out there, and how to take some initiative to develop themselves beyond the classroom. And so we were founded on the belief that some of the best learning happens outside the classroom, especially at the college level. And so get out of your comfort zone, meet new people, change your perspective about the opportunities that are out there. And so this ambassador experience has grown to almost 45 now on unique campuses all across the country. And we will get about 70 to 80% of applicants for our in-person experiences from campuses where they have influence.
Wow.
So we have empowered them to say, you're the best storytellers, go talk about ways to engage in AFA, why it's valuable, why should they take the initiative to apply for a thing that they're not guaranteed to get into.
Okay.
So that's half of our existence.
I have to tell you, Mark did not pay me to say this, but I'm sitting here listening to him. I go, man, that sounds really familiar. When my first managerial budget approval of someone doing professional development was someone on staff from Ohio who had come to work for South Carolina Farm Bureau who said, hey, I am an AFA ambassador and I would like budget approval to go to this event. And I thought, oh, okay, well, let me figure that out. and so I remember that as you talk about it now, and I can remember how that really looked in my team, that person going and having that experience. So kudos for that excellent program. Ebony?
Yeah, great program, Mark. I would say for us, it really probably has to be our national conference. And even though that event is only a 4-day event, the preparation that it takes for those students to get ready for the event starts when they start, the fall semester. At that event, there are a number of ways that students really get engaged. One, they get to see that agriculture is bigger than what's on their campus. Oftentimes, you kind of can get siloed in and figure out it's all just what's going on in your local area or your state. But when they're able to come to a national convention or a conference, one, you're able to network with your peers, share some similar interests or common challenges. And then also at our event, there are a number of competitions that our students get to participate in. So putting their research on display, being able to receive monetary awards for that research as well. And then lastly is also where a number of our national partners show up and offer career opportunities to our students. So not only does Manners start in the fall semester of getting them ready and preparing those leadership and soft skills, but hopefully also by the time the spring comes around, they're ready to show up together to get those internships or to get those entry-level roles. So it really is, for us, building that credibility and trust to say, hey, if you trust us and give our organization just a little time, we promise you that you may, in the end up with a job or end up with that scholarship to grad school to get your PhD or end up with a mentor who's gonna tell you, no, you may need to wait and do that. And so I love that our conference is that one place. It is once a year, but it is that place where you make those lifelong connections that take you out throughout the year and to help you really decide what it is that you really want to do next.
I have had that experience by attending your conference, and I'm not even a student. I mean, I went to their conference, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And in fact, to prove your point, the person that I just mentioned, who I've been mentoring for a number of years, was in our inaugural Farm Bureau Fellows program, which is for Manners students who come to do a fellowship with us at our YF&R conference and Fusion conference each year. But when I went to the Manners conference, I met a few other people, and if we fast forward on that journey, one of them invited me to his wedding that took place about 2 weeks ago. So it really is that lifelong connection, whether you're in industry or if you're students, it's happening all across the deck. So that's a great example, Ebony. All right, what do we have, Scott?
Well,
what do we have out of everything FFA does? What's your pick?
in being almost 100, I would say that our highlights reel might be a few more things for a little longer. Sorry to take time, but
you're gonna pick more than one?
yeah, I got to. Because I can't help but begin with the local ag teachers, which, you know, I'm a son of an ag teacher.
Yeah. You have fans in the audience.
Yeah, was an ag teacher by training through Purdue, and then was taught in Indiana before coming into my kind of professional path around career development in the wider sense. But when you think about what happens, local board members or community operatives or state operatives for our Farm Bureau, do know that part of this is also listening to this generation. Our ag teachers do that. We have about 14,000 of them nationwide. They are the ones that on a daily basis in the classrooms are pouring into young people. And the key to engagement is they find what that student might be interested in and then find the FFA opportunity, and they ask them and they say, you know what, you should do this. Now, I'm looking at a couple of the FFA members. When did you ever tell your ag teacher no the first time they asked you? Yes, there we go. Common occurrence, but ag teachers are persistent. They come back and they do it again. And what they're asking them to be involved in is this system, and that's the other part to our engagement, is this notion of learning by doing and doing to learn, which is our motto, half of it. But that sets all of this in this space of history question for those of you that have no FFA and have at least some background on it. 1928, Kansas City, Missouri. Why were those FFA members there? They were there to form an organization, but more importantly, the reason they had gathered there was because they were judging at the American Royal Livestock Show. And so they were competing, honing their technical skills. So since the beginning, I would say that we are, competition is king, sadly, in FFA, that if you can get a young person interested in competing and showing their best and getting feedback and getting awarded for that, that's the other way. And, I was blessed here a few minutes ago to watch the discussion meet, at least part of it. And, that's, as you can see, our members naturally gravitate to that because it's that level of engagement they're looking for, being a part of competing and then also serving.
Right. I would even say your officer programs are part of that competitive pipeline, right?
Absolutely.
Even becoming an officer in FFA is a competitive spirited kind of thing. And, but yet you can attract very humble, down-to-earth young people who normally wouldn't put themselves in a competitive environment to then strive and have ambition to achieve these things, which I think brings out something new and interesting in those young people that they keep for their lifetime. The first, one of the folks that we hired at American Farm Bureau after I started, you know how if you're ever hiring somebody or if you've ever been hired, you have been stalked online, okay? Because if you hire somebody, you're gonna stalk them online. Well, I was stalking a potential hire online, and I get on YouTube, and he's speaking in front of 6,000 people on a stage with FFA. And I thought, oh, well, he could definitely do this job, you know? So I think that there's really just everything that you said, from the teachers sparking that interest to the young people developing within that system. It really is truly a masterful thing that you guys are doing with your work. Thank you so much. Jill, tell us about your favorite 4-H thing, because I know there's a lot.
There is a lot, and similar to FFA, the magic of 4-H starts in local communities with our 4-H educators that are part of cooperative extension and 500,000 volunteers, and I guarantee there are volunteers here, sitting here today, because the partnership with Farm Bureau at the local level and the state level and national level is so important to providing opportunities in 4-H. Our local 4-H educators are really focused, since it is such a wide age range in 4-H. We actually start as early as 5 years old with what we call clover buds, all the way to 18. And our educators are really focused to what sparks an interest in the young person, meeting kids where they are, listening to them so that they can show up and be their authentic self, and then preparing them to be ready, or what we call beyond ready, with a 1-year-old telling an 8-year-old how awesome agriculture is. they're listening and they're seeing leadership happen in that older youth, and it creates this ambition where those younger 4-Hers want to continue to stay in the organization, to do more challenging projects, programs, some competitions, in order to develop their leadership. So it builds the leadership in the older teens and also increases interest in the younger kids. We have a national event called Ignite by 4-H for about 2,000 high school age teens. 75% of those workshops are actually taught by the teens, not adults. So we've done that for 125 years, and it's really very effective.
That's amazing. The very first overnight camp that I sent my children to was a 4-H camp. That was the time when you have the butterflies in your stomach as a parent and you're thinking to yourself, am I actually gonna drop my child off with these strangers, these people that I've never met before, you know? And you get there and you find such a warm family of people. And honestly, even just the 4-H brand is like trustworthy, you know? So it's like, if I can take them to any camp, I can take them to that camp, you know? So thank you for building a trustworthy environment where young people are bringing in the even younger people, like you said, in this very symbiotic, like beneficial situation. And I've been a personal beneficiary of that as well in my own family. So that's such a great point. I love how you created that distinction of young people teaching even younger people and being able to bring them into something that really is meaningful and showcase that potential and capacity for leadership within them. Okay, so now we know your highlight reel, but now I want to really know your secrets, because the highlight reel is the thing that everybody sees. But the secrets are the things behind the scenes of what you know that we don't know. And I'm wondering if you can tell us, what have you figured out that works? I want to know your best practices. I want to know when you're talking to your team, even when they're generating a brand new idea, like something that you're not currently doing. Or something that you're trying to keep going in a strong way. What are those best practices that you are relaying internally behind the scenes to say, this is what works? Can you share that with us and share it with one another, and let's dig in to figure out what can we glean from you guys so that we can take it back to our county farm bureaus as well? Jill, you want to start?
I can start on this end and go that way. So I think for us, we always want to put young people in the center. It's less about us pushing down a program that is the same in every community in every state. It starts more with the young person in the center and what are their interests. Then it's really important that they have adult mentors, long-term adult mentors that are trained in the science of youth development. It is actually a science of how young people grow, learn, and develop. So we need to make sure that the educators have the latest science and research. And then just learning a topic area for a young person is really important. It's kind of the more technical side. But then that young person then having the opportunity to lead in their community, to take that interest that they are really passionate about and talk about it through public speaking or a demonstration or make a presentation to the county commissioners in what they want to do in their community. That's all part of developing leadership over time that then becomes a very valuable life skill.
Thank you so much. That's excellent. I love that insight. All right, what do you guys think? What else? What else do you have?
Yeah, well, I would just say that, and some of you, well, we do have a couple from Arkansas over here wearing the FFA jacket today. I do know that last night I did get a text from one of my niece that just released out there into the world as a new clothing line by one of the actors off of yeah, the summer I turned pretty, that just happens to be a blue corduroy jacket cut exactly like ours. It has something that looks like an emblem on the back of it, but it says Midnight Rodeo, and it has a rodeo instead of the plow and the owl. Don't worry, cease and desist letters are going out as I speak.
Oh, God.
Right now, that's already taken care of.
Hope that's not your brand.
Cool part is they're selling them for $475. Yes, we did have to go up this year because of some factors to $65, but I think we're still giving a pretty good deal on blue corduroy at this point in time. But that jacket, in and of itself, creates this space of belonging. And it starts with that local program, that local chapter where students are getting together. But as soon as the student steps beyond that chapter to a state, a district event or a state convention, and all of a sudden is surrounded by more people that are sharing that same belief in agriculture, looking for a career path there, building their leadership skills, sharing that same notion of making myself better so I can serve the world better. And that's where I think there's this wonderful overlap with County Farm Bureau committees and boards, in that you are also creating that space of wanting to create positive change within your communities, sharing the message of agriculture. And so I do think there is a space there to connect those two together.
Amazing.
Now, I'm not
Ebony,
saying go out and buy blue corduroy jackets.
Yeah.
But, there's got to be a way that when those young people come and help out at a breakfast or help serve a dinner for you, figuring out a next step beyond that of how do we bring them into what we're doing. And that could be, we do a lot of service opportunities, and they love service opportunities. So connecting them into our passion.
Okay. That's amazing. All right, Ebony, what are your secrets? What do you guys talk about behind the scenes when you say this is what we've got to do because this is what works?
Oftentimes what works is not what's easy. And so for us, it is, I think Jill mentioned earlier, it is meeting people where they are. So I think it is going in that there's no cookie cutter approach. There's no one shoe fits all. So for my team, I tell them, one, you have to be flexible. So you have to be flexible and you have to meet people where they are. And secondly, for us, it is about creating access. And so I often ask them, what would keep a person from wanting to get involved? What would stop someone from from the ability to be able to access this program or this event? And for us, that's the issue we're trying to solve for. And that way, if we can ensure the door is big enough that everyone can walk through it, and then when they get there, they are walking into an environment that is welcoming, or they are walking into an environment where someone says, hey, what are you looking for? So I love the fact that Jill said that you have to also listen. Because sometimes, and I love this about manners as I was thinking about it, we often get that voluntold. So oftentimes when you're walking into a space and you don't really know, I love the fact that someone will come along and say, let me walk you over here and introduce you to X, Y, and Z, or let me walk you over here to the Farm Bureau's booth and let someone over here tell you about these opportunities. So you get a lot of that informal mentorship and manners, as well as people generally just want to see you do well and are really just invested in you doing well. So whatever that needs to look like for you, whether that's a job, how to make your elevator pitch, or how to fix your tie, it's just someone that's being genuinely interested in your well-being, and I think that's really the secret sauce.
I love that. I appreciate the authenticity. It's almost like what you said is blending what we've heard so far, and really finding power behind that. I'll save my comments till the end because I'm nerding out on this. All right, Mark, what do you have?
So ironic, you use the term secret sauce. That's what we call it. So it's not a sophisticated idea, but we preach that your network is a personal asset to you, as valuable as anything monetarily you'll ever own. And we start that early on, and we help young people figure that out. So when we create our spaces, we take great pride in the amount of professionals that we engage in our experiences for young people to interact and network with. And so undoubtedly, we focus on skill development, we provide career exploration, all of those things are really valuable, but if you ask a young person after one of our experiences to talk about the value of what we provided, it's the networking. And so if there is a secret sauce, it is that we do that in a really unique and profound way with purpose. And what comes out of that is a broader perspective about who exists, what jobs they have, and then down the road, what problems we can solve together because we have a broader professional network.
Right.
And there are also romantic relationships that come out of that. That's not the intended purpose, but we have had some get married as a result of getting connected. But you get the gist. If there is a secret sauce, it is people, and it is the network that they can create in one of our spaces. That's not a profound thought, but it just takes intention and energy. And when you do it right, you can also help people feel that they belong. Like they see themselves represented in a space. They're like, okay, I was on the fence about this major. Now I'm here. Now I see how important it is. I see the level of people that are here. I'm sold. I'm in.
Wow, and I can attest because I've been to some of your networking events, and even if it's a small room with not that many students, it's like packed full of leaders in the industry. And so they're creating this very exclusive access to that network in order to be able to build on that. Okay, Farm Bureau members, if you are a note taker, now is the time. I know you have cell phones and there is a note app. So if you want to know the secret sauce to engaging young people and empowering them, I'm about to give it to you because I took notes while they were talking. It's 4 things. Are you ready? All right, take notes because this is what you need to do in your own county farm bureau as well as your state programs that you lead if you want young people to be involved. Are we ready? And I took notes while they're talking. I did not come prepared with this. Here we go. Nice. I hope you're taking notes because this is important. All right. Number 1, listen to young people and meet them where they are. Number 2, create community and belonging. Number 3, be welcoming and create access with open doors for young people to come to the table. Number 4, build strong networks for young people. If we all do that, I cannot tell you how incredibly successful you will be. Okay. We have how are we? Okay, all right. We've got about 5 minutes. Are you ready? So now we have our punch list. We know what we're doing. I need you guys to give us some advice. Are you ready? Okay, you're gonna give us some advice because you just gave us advice. We have our marching orders. We know what we're doing, but now I need you to tell me how can we as county and state farm bureaus build a strong pipeline together? How can we work together between your organizations and our organization so that this pipeline that we see happen all the time? If anybody was reading the competitor PowerPoint slides that were going in the sessions and stuff, you see on there, I was in FFA and then I got involved in Farm Bureau. I was in 4-H and then I got involved in Farm Bureau. You know what I mean? I mean, it's just constant. So we have a good thing going, but I think that a lot of people are still out there wondering, what can we do to do this better? So can you guys give us some advice as we close?
I'm going to jump in.
Go for it. Go
Just
for
quick,
it.
Keep it limited. As I mentioned before, the BASF Future of Work study, the one interesting thing we found in that was the power of the local ag teacher, the local FFA advisor. And you heard one of the speakers from the discussion meet basically give recognition to the 2 advisors, local advisors that kind of got him on a path. Well, 75% of our most recent graduates said without a question, that is their first person to go to when trying to figure out what to do next. Career advice, next steps in how I get to that career. The value of that local agriculture instructor is so critical. And so if you don't know the programs in your area, you can go to ffa.org, and we have under the About section a chapter locator that will put you in touch with and in contact information with that local advisor in your area. Those of you that are working well with your advisors, great. Those of you that are struggling with it, I would just recommend that, and we have over 50% of our ag teachers are new since 2018. And we've got a lot of young ones out there. And I'll be honest with you, they're overwhelmed. And so anything you can do to, instead of adding a task to their plate, taking one of those burdens away and then inviting their students in a way that is easy and
where are we outreaching and sharing information to? For Manners, we have over 100 chapters in 40 states, around the country. And so for us, it'd be easy to promote local Farm Bureau's activities. For us on our board, we always promote local involvement and membership. And so I think just continue to cross promote to one another so that those that can reach their local Farm Bureau are encouraged to do so.
Awesome. Mark?
So, mind you, I know college students a lot better than I know high school and before, so this might be a little bit of a departure, but there is a notion that we've hit on, that's this idea of the middle majority in college that don't have access to the same types of experiential opportunities that most do. So if you take this as rough numbers, let's just say top 25% get all the internships, all the leadership positions in clubs and organizations, et cetera. Bottom 25% probably aren't going to try, don't care, may or may not finish college. And then you have this middle majority. There's not enough internships, there's not enough field experiences, there's not enough leadership positions to go around. And so anytime I have the opportunity to challenge an audience is, if you're working in a community, in industry, and you have opportunities, no matter what they are, to provide meaningful experience outside the classroom, there's a lot of college students that don't have access to it. We can't create internships for them, but you get the idea of where we're going. If we could do that better, I was on Purdue's campus talking to their career services folks late last year. They get worried when students get to their sophomore year and can't find meaningful learning experiences like internships or the like. And they fear that that's going to turn them off and they're not going to find their path and they're going to go do something else entirely. And so when we think about the talent pipeline, we all play a different role in it, but that's our fear, is that we lose. There's a drip in the pipeline somewhere, and it's things like just getting them meaningful experience or connecting them to people as mentors can spark and keep their passion interested through the remainder of college.
Awesome. Thank you. Jill, close us out with your advice.
All right. Well, as great as us adults always think our ideas are about how to get young people engaged, I would start with the young people. They have incredible, amazing ideas. They're all nodding. They're like, we're just waiting to be asked. In your local community, if you are a county farm bureau and you're wanting to get a pipeline of young people participating, go convene a group of young people, feed them. They love food, right? That'll bring everybody. Yep, they're nodding. Bring your young farmer and ranchers with them. Let them sit in a room and cultivate the ideas, and they will come up with ways. If you're willing to listen and willing to maybe do things a little bit differently, they will come up with phenomenal ideas. And then you've begun to engage them already, and they can be part of implementing those ideas. Did I get it right, 4-Hers?
There you go.
All right, good deal.
Okay, so after this session, I'm going to write a book, and it's going to have these 8 points. You already wrote down 4 of the points, and so I want to leave you with your final 4 points. If you want to get involved or build the pipeline with FFA, reach out to your ag teacher and have a meaningful relationship. In order to build pipelines with Manners, you need to build awareness of Farm Bureau and of Manners. In order to have a meaningful relationship and build a pipeline through AFA, you need to offer up meaningful networking experiences from your connections through AFA so that AFA and Farm Bureau can have a strong relationship. And in order to build the pipeline with 4-H, you need to bring young people to the table so that they can cultivate ideas for your county Farm Bureau, and they will bring vibrancy and youth and energy to your county. Thank you so much for being with us here today, and thank you for
We are coming to a close in this session, but I want you to stick around, because in just a few minutes we are going to start our next and very last session here at the Cultivation stage, our Field to Fork face-off. And it's going to be really fun, dare I say, a hoot and a holler. So you're going to want to stick around for that. So at 10 o'clock, be here, be ready for our Field to Fork face-off presented by our Promotion and Engagement Committee. Thank you all.
Engagement Committee. I'm Amy Jo Estes and the retiring chair of the P&E Committee. Woo! After I tell you about our committee, I'm going to share a little bit about our new Ask a Farmer program that any Farm Bureau member can participate in. And then we are going to do a showcase of our very favorite game show, the Field to Fork Face-Off. So I hope you're ready because we've got a lot in store for you this morning. The AFBF committee is made up of members representing not just the 19 states that have recognized P&E programming, but also all of Farm Bureau. Our committee develops us into strong communicators, collaborators, and influencers to help promote consumer confidence and trust in American agriculture. We are uniquely situated to help provide support, resources, and programming for county and state farm bureaus, whether it's a P&E committee, women's leadership, or young farmers and ranchers. Our committee is excited to host the 2026 Target Training in Washington, D.C., March 26th through the 28th. It is our premier consumer engagement training where you will have the opportunity for keynotes, workshops, and the ever-popular media training. So I hope you would join us in Washington, D.C. Registration is now open, but does close on February 16th. And at this time, I would like to introduce Ms. Heidi Cooper, and she's going to share a little bit about our Ask a Farmer program.
Thank you, Amy Jo. I'm so excited to be here to share about our efforts to build connections between farmers and consumers, because on our committee, promotion and engagement, that's what it's all about. Our committee spent a lot of time and we thought long and hard about the best way for not only us, but for all of you to engage with consumers, and that's where we came up with the program, Ask a Farmer. It's simple. It's about getting farmers and consumers in the same space to talk about food and farming. I genuinely love this initiative, and that's why I'm excited to talk about it today. I know I have a unique experience on my farm that I work on in Rutland, Massachusetts. We're delivering direct to doorstep for 1,000 customers a week, and we invite even more to come to our farm. We have a farm stand, ice cream, farm bar, consumer events, and Airbnbs. As you can imagine, I get to talk to a lot of people every single day. But with that said, I know not everyone here is doing those same things, and I'm really excited to talk about this initiative because this is what brings that all together and shares with you folks how we're doing those things. So knowing that not everyone has that experience as Farm Bureau members, we're going to help you make those connections and ensure that we can move forward.
So Heidi, what are some of the objectives of the Ask a Farmer program?
Yep. So we actually have a promo clip we're going to share to talk about that now.
Ask a Farmer is more than just a phrase. It's a signature initiative of the American Farm Bureau Promotion and Engagement Program. The Ask a Farmer initiative promotes the opportunity for consumers to have authentic, in-person experiences with farmers. These experiences build consumer trust and confidence in American agriculture and provide opportunity for farmers to answer the questions consumers have about their food, in person, one-on-one. Consumers are more curious than ever about the food they eat, and through this program, Farm Bureau members step up to bridge the information gap. To help you prepare to engage effectively, let's consider the why. It can even be one-on-one with the governor of Missouri. Members at the county, state, or national level can host an event anywhere consumers might be. It's all about having authentic, in-person experiences. The how might seem daunting, but the AFBF P&E Committee has worked hard to create planning and training resources to make it easy, like a program toolkit that includes promotional materials. In addition to sample videos, you'll find pre-made graphics for pull-up banners like the ones you've seen in this video. There are talking points on trending topics and key takeaways from the National Committee's experiences to help volunteers prepare for questions they might get asked. Most importantly, there are digital versions of the Ask a Farmer event planner and timeline, as well as a discussion guide to help you become a successful host. For skill building in advance, members can find learning modules on Farm Bureau University with subjects like tackling tough topics and more. There are also recorded episodes of Amplify Agriculture on the P&E page of the AFBF website, which are additional resources that cover a range of consumer engagement topics. The AFBF P&E Committee is here to help. We look forward to hearing about successful Ask a Farmer programs in your states in the future.
So now we've talked a little bit about the how and the why and the where. What are some resources to help people prepare to do an Ask a Farmer in their local community?
Yeah, for those in the audience that aren't aware, we have resources that take care of that answer. If you want free trainings on tackling tough topics, you can find those resources on a module in Farm Bureau University. We also provide in-person trainings like target training that Amy Jo mentioned earlier. This year we're in Washington, D.C. in March. Registration is open now. We keep it to 80 members, so it's a real intimate, close experience. And there's a QR code on the screen where you can register and learn more. We also have a program toolkit that has all sorts of resources, like these fantastic banners that you can order and have delivered direct to your farm. They're incredibly reasonable on price, but these are fantastic. We have the step-by-step event planning guides, and the QR code on the screen also takes you to those resources. But don't worry, if you don't have your phone on you today, state staff have access to the feed where this program toolkit is available. So if you can't snap it now, just make sure to connect with your coordinators and state staff, and they can get that for you.
Thank you, Heidi. It was great to chat more about the Ask a Farmer program. For us as farmers, understanding the perspectives of consumers and being able to answer the questions that they have about where their food comes from is so important. And this program really helps us to bridge the gap from field to fork. Thank you again. Speaking of field to fork, I hope this is why you are all here, and I hope we can live up to Megan Meredith's hoot and a holler. But I would now like to invite Nate Schleif of North Dakota and Lynn Leahy of Wisconsin to come and be our Steve Harvey. And okay, so Vanna White wasn't really in that show, but we're going to call her Vanna White to help assist with the field to fork. Enjoy.
Thank you, Amy Jo. Field to Fork Face-Off is a fun, interactive game show activity that encourages discussion about perceptions of food production. This program is great for state conventions and other membership engagements, which helps members understand what consumers think about different aspects of agriculture and how sometimes the consumer perspective is not based on fact or what we think. We would now like to run a few rounds of the game show just so you can see what it looks like. And I'll be your Steve Harvey.
And Farm Bureau members to be used as a means to start the conversation about agriculture. Note, the answers are not scientifically correct, but rather the opinion of the respondents. To begin the match, there will be a face-off question between one member of each team to determine which team gets control of that question. The team member who returns the highest scoring answer will give their team a chance to play the question. Team members will have 10 seconds to give an answer, and at the end of 10 seconds, you will hear this sound. Points will be determined by the value associated to the response to that survey question. If a team can play the entire board, they will earn all of the points associated with the answer. If the team gets 3 incorrect answers, the opposing team has the opportunity to steal all of the points by giving 1 correct answer. If the opposing team fails to give a correct answer, the original team will receive the total point values shown on the board. Conferring with teammates while answering in a round is discouraged, but you may talk among yourselves if the opposing team answers incorrectly 3 times and your team has the opportunity to steal. Each match will have 3 questions. The value of the points will double and triple as we advance in the rounds. If there happens to be a tie at the end of the play, a face-off question will be played to break the tie. The team member that returns the highest scoring answer in the face-off will win the round. This year, we are excited to showcase the new Field to Fork face-off trophy. Woohoo! So, if you win, we will inscribe the name of your state in the fork. So the stakes are high. You are going to compete for state bragging rights. And get ready, we're going to have one last surprise for everyone in the audience following this match. So I'll turn it back over to Nate to start the show.
All right, welcome to Field to Fork Face-Off. Let's welcome up our two teams for a Border Blizzard Bash from the north for Field to Fork Face-Off. All right, we have two teams up here. One from North Dakota. North Dakota, what is your team name?
Bison Backers.
The Bison Backers. Woo! Minnesota, what is your team name?
Team Rocks and Cows.
Team Rocks and Cows. All right. So, we're going to get started. First thing I need is two players up here. What you're going to do is stand in front of me, put your hands to the side of your body. After I read the survey question, the first one to touch their head with their hand is going to get an opportunity to answer. If you do not have the highest scoring answer, the other team will get a chance to answer, and whoever gets the highest scoring gets to pass or play. Right? All right. So, we interviewed Midwestern high school students, okay? And the question we asked them, what state do you think has the most farms? Pete.
Texas.
Texas. Texas is number one. So,
We'll play.
All right, they're going to play. All right. David, can you tell me, we interviewed Midwestern high school students. We asked the question, what state do you think has the most farms?
Kentucky.
Kentucky. Woo! One buzzer. All right. Jeff, we interviewed Midwestern high school students, and we asked them, what state do you think has the most farms? What is your answer?
Iowa.
Iowa. All right. Pete, we interviewed Midwestern high school students and asked them what state has the most farms. What is your answer?
Minnesota.
Minnesota. All right. Back to you, David. Again, we interviewed Midwestern high school students and asked them, what state do you think has the most farms?
Let's try Wisconsin.
Wisconsin. Okay, Jeff, we interviewed Midwestern high school students and asked them what state has the most farms.
Nebraska.
Nebraska. Pete, we interviewed Midwestern high school students and asked them what state has the most farms.
I would say Oklahoma.
Oklahoma. Two strikes. Two strikes. David, this is it. You either get it or you don't. Okay, pretty simple. We interviewed Midwestern high school students and asked them what state has the most farms. What is your answer?
Indiana.
Indiana. All right. North Dakota, you have a chance to steal. Okay. All right. We interviewed Midwestern high school students and asked them what state do you think has the most farms. What is your answer?
Illinois.
Illinois. Can you tell me where are we at after round number 1?
Rocks and cows.
All right. Yes, I will tell you the rest of the answers. Woo! All right. Answer number 7. Kansas. All right. Number 4. California. And number 3. South Dakota. All right. After round 1, Minnesota's ahead. Next team member up here in front.
Can't reach my head. What are we gonna do? I can't reach my head. What if we hit Nate?
All right.
You should step a little closer, buddy.
I'm going to back up a little from you two. All right. We interviewed Midwestern high school students, and the question was, name a state that produces apples. John Jacobson.
Washington.
Washington. Pay or pass. Okay, they're going to play. All right, Sam. We interviewed Midwestern high school students and asked them, name a state that produces apples.
Oregon.
Oregon. Ooh. Okay, 1 strike. Val, remember this is Midwestern high school students that we interviewed, and we asked them for a state that produces apples.
Florida.
Florida. Woo! All right, John, we interviewed Midwestern high school students and asked for a state that produces apples.
California.
California. All right, Sam, we interviewed Midwestern high school students and asked them for a state that produces apples.
Georgia.
Georgia. 2 strikes. 2 strikes. Val, we interviewed Midwestern high school students and asked them to name a state that produces apples.
Minnesota.
Minnesota. John, we interviewed Midwestern high school students and asked for a state that produces apples.
Arizona.
Arizona. 3 strikes. All right. Ohio. Ohio. And number 2, New York. All right. So this round was worth twice as many points, so we are at 224. All right. Round 3, final round. This is for all the Kachawi. All right. I don't know. Anyways, so 3 times the points, okay? We asked Midwestern high school students, what is a top commodity exported outside of the U.S.? Jeff?
Corn.
Corn. They're gonna play. You guys are tough. Holy Hannah.
No, we're just good.
Well.
Hey, you guys can start playing anytime.
Name a Midwestern high school, we asked Midwestern high school students, what is a top commodity exported from the U.S.?
Soybeans.
Soybeans.
Good answer. Oh, it's only
Okay. We interviewed Midwestern high school students and asked for a top commodity exported from the U.S.
Wheat.
Wheat. Again, we asked Midwestern high school students to name a top commodity exported from the U.S.
Beef.
Beef. Okay. Back to you. We asked Midwestern high school students to name a top commodity exported from the U.S.
Well, since we had beef, how about we go with pork?
Pork. We asked Midwestern high school students to name a top commodity exported from the U.S. David?
don't know. Chicken.
Chicken. Okay, Jeff. We asked Midwestern high school students, name a top commodity exported from the U.S. Don't mess this up. 3 strikes, you're out.
Do we get to phone a friend?
No.
Oh. Dairy.
Dairy. All right, North Dakota. You get a chance. Take the 3rd round. All right, Val, we asked Midwestern high school students, what is a top commodity exported from the U.S.?
I think since you asked high school students, they're going to say oil.
Oil. Yes! Woo! All right. While she's calculating, give me number 8. Cotton. Number 7, gas. And number 3, refined petroleum. All right! North Dakota wins it, 228 versus 224. Woo-hoo-hoo! You guys are just rocks and cows, remember that?
Rigged.
So, not rigged. Bison, go Bison! All right, thank you all for playing. First state to get on the Fork Trophy is North Dakota. All right, we're going to bring up the 2nd round. This round, hang on. All right. As we shared earlier, we're going to welcome the next team for the Field to Fork Faceoff 2026 championship round. Now, our committee has searched high and low, far and wide, for experts in agriculture, whether it be on policy, training, or the supply chain. Stakeholders, lo and behold, we just happen to find these skills on our own AFBF staff. Let's welcome our very own Megan Meredith, Brian Glenn, and Mike Tomko. All right. Now, competing against this staff in the championship round is our best and our brightest. Our voluntold, amazing spouses that support us continuously, and we thank them for doing that by throwing them under the bus. Please come on up. Okay. Team AFBF, have you chosen a name?
We are the Movers and Shakers.
The Movers and Shakers. Team Spouses, have you picked a name?
Absolutely, we are the handlers because we're handling our spouses.
All right. All right, we got the Movers and Shakers and the handlers. I would like you both to come up. Let's get started.
The face-off we've been waiting for.
Absolutely, all morning.
Yeah, yes.
All right.
See you. Game on.
Game on. You're going down.
That's what you think.
He is.
All right. We are now going to get started. All right. So, in round 1, Midwestern fairgoers were surveyed. Okay? And the question that we asked him, what do you define as locally grown? Meredith, or Megan, it is put your hand on your head. You're doing fine. You're doing fine. Yeah, I know, we got it. All right. All right, Deb. So the question was, Midwestern fairgoers are surveyed. What do you define as locally grown? And your answer?
Would be within my city or around my city.
Around my city. All right, Megan.
In my state.
In my state. Ooh, all right.
Yeah.
They're going to pass. So we're going over to the spouses. Okay. Midwestern fairgoers were surveyed. What do you define as locally grown? David?
Within the county.
Within the county. There you go. All right. Mr. John Estes. Mr. John Estes, we would like to know Midwestern Fair. Have you ever been to a fair in the Midwest? Okay. You know anybody that goes to those?
I heard about it.
You heard about them? Yeah. All right, all right. You married to a gal that goes to any of those fairs?
Occasionally.
Occasionally? Okay, fantastic. Midwestern fairgoers were surveyed. What do you define as locally grown?
Within 100 miles.
Within 100 miles. All right, back at the beginning. Deb, Midwestern fairgoers were surveyed. What do you define as locally grown?
Within 50 miles.
Within 50 miles. David, Midwestern fairgoers were surveyed. What do you define as locally grown?
Locally growing.
Yes, sir.
Within my neighborhood.
Within my neighborhood. All right. Mr. John Estes, back at you. Midwest fairgoers were surveyed. What do you define as locally grown?
In my garden.
In his garden. In his garden. Woo! Deb, Midwestern fairgoers were surveyed. What do you define as locally grown?
Within the U.S.
Within the U.S. 2 strikes. 2 strikes. David, it's all up. Yeah, here we go. Nope, nope. All right.
My legal counsel?
No, sir, you may not. You may, no, you are not.
Why do you have to be so harsh to us?
It's part of how I am. Midwestern fairgoers were surveyed. What do you define as locally grown?
Maybe Deb needs to straighten you out a little bit.
It's entirely possible.
State.
You don't say as much as Cindy. I'm just saying that.
I know. She talks way more than I do.
Yeah, I noticed.
200 miles or less.
200 miles or less. Oh, 3 strikes. 3 strikes. All right. We're over here to the movers and shakers. All right. So, Midwestern fairgoers were surveyed. Megan, have you been to a fair before?
Can't say I have, Steve Harvey. I can't say I have.
It's unfortunate. You should try that. What do you define as locally grown?
So thinking from the people that were surveyed, we think organic.
Organic. Organic. All right. All right. The spouses have won the round. All right. Number 7. Within 150 miles. And number 5. In my region. All right. The handlers are at 76 points. The movers and shakers are a big old zilch. So, all right. I thought you were some of the brightest, and anyways. All right. I need the next 2 people up here in front of me. Hands to your sides.
Good luck.
Good luck. Good luck, sir.
David was practicing.
Whoever hits Nate's head first.
Yeah, uh-huh. Very good. Very good. All right. Put your right hand on your head after I say this if you want to answer the question.
Why my right hand?
Because that is the proper instructions on how to do this.
Do we have to listen?
I would prefer if you did. All right. Midwestern fairgoers were surveyed. Name something made from corn. David?
Ethanol.
Say it again.
Ethanol.
Ethanol. All right, you got a chance. There are number 5. 10 seconds.
High fructose corn syrup.
High fructose corn syrup. Number 4. All right, are you going to play or pass? Play? All right, let's play. All right, Midwestern fairgoers were surveyed. Name something made from corn.
Well, Steve Harvey, chips.
Chips. The answer is chips. Corn chips, there you go. You're on the board again. All right, Miss Megan. Midwestern fairgoers were surveyed, and they were asked to name something made from corn.
I'm going to say bread, cornbread.
Cornbread. Cornbread. Woo! All right, Brian. Midwestern fairgoers were surveyed. Name something made from corn.
Corn starch.
Corn starch. Oh, one down, guys. One down. Midwestern fairgoers were surveyed. Name something made from corn.
Tortillas.
Tortillas. Woo! 2 answers left on the board. Megan, Midwestern fairgoers were surveyed. Name something made from corn.
I'm going to say flour, corn flour.
Corn flour. 1 strike left. Okay? No pressure.
Okay.
Here we go. Midwestern fairgoers were surveyed. Name something made from corn.
One of my favorite Thanksgiving sides, creamed corn.
Creamed corn. These are double points in the second round. Lynn's going to work on the score. Let's go. These are double points in the second round. Lynn's going to work on the score. Let's go to number 7. Whiskey. And number 6, popcorn. All right, after the second round, the movers and shakers are at 116, and the handlers are at 76. All right, gentlemen, come on up. Again, your right hand, very good, right hand on your head, okay? The question is, Midwestern fairgoers were surveyed. Name a fruit or vegetable harvested by hand. Sir?
Apples.
Apples. Apples number 1. Want to play? Okay, they're going to play. All right. So remember, third round, points are triple in this round, okay? Here we go. Megan, Midwestern fairgoers were surveyed. Name a fruit or vegetable harvested by hand.
Well, being from Florida, I'm going to say oranges.
Nice.
Oranges. Yep. There we go. There we go. It's on the board. All right, Brian. Midwestern fairgoers were surveyed. Name a fruit or vegetable harvested by hand.
Watermelon.
Watermelon. It's there. It's there. All right, Mike. Midwestern fairgoers were surveyed. Name a fruit or vegetable harvested by hand.
Lettuce.
Lettuce. Okay, first strike. All right, remember, these are Midwestern fairgoers that were surveyed. Okay? Name a fruit or vegetable harvested by hand.
I'm going to say pumpkin.
Pumpkins. Pumpkins. 2 strikes, 2 strikes. Okay. Does anybody want to see them win? Yeah. Let's go! Get excited! All right, Brian. Midwestern fairgoers were surveyed. Name a fruit or vegetable harvested by hand.
Strawberries.
Strawberries. Good job, good job. Mike, Midwestern fairgoers were surveyed. Name a fruit or vegetable harvested by hand.
Peaches.
Peaches. All right, Megan, back to you. Midwestern fairgoers were surveyed. Name a fruit or vegetable harvested by hand.
I'm going to say blueberries.
Blueberries. All right, 3 strikes, folks. We're back over here. The handlers, you get a chance. This is for all the money. Midwestern fairgoers were surveyed. Name a fruit or vegetable harvested by hand.
I feel if you've ever been to the Minnesota State Fair, that it has to be grapes.
Grapes. Grapes is the answer. You got it. All right. While Lynn's working on the final score, let's do number 5. Tomatoes. And number 4. Carrots. All right. Final score. Staff 116, spouses 244. All right. That's championship round. Hang on one second. Thank you all for playing. This is such a great game, and I would encourage states to utilize this resource from the P&E committee. I would now like to hand off the mic to the newly elected chair of AFBF P&E committee. Thank you all.
How fun was that? I'll say I really enjoyed seeing my fellow committee members up here. Nate always is, you know, a good time, and Lynn really came out of her shell, and that was so fun. Let's give them another round of applause, please. All right, so we really appreciate you spending your time with us here, your time and attention this morning, and hope you really enjoy the rest of all that convention has for the remainder of the day. If you have any questions about promotion and engagement, please find any of our committee members. We are more than happy to share any of our resources or details with you. We'd also love to have you join us this afternoon. We have a session called The Power of Engagement, and it's today at 2 o'clock. You can join us and see award-winning film and TV producer Sam Goldberg for an interactive workshop on the power of storytelling in agriculture. With a career dedicated to bringing meaningful agricultural stories to the screen, Goldberg brings deep expertise in how we can shape narratives and resonate with diverse audiences. We would love to see you there. And with that, thank you again for attending our session here with the Promotion and Engagement Committee. Have a wonderful day.
our very last drawing for the Get the Scoop on Membership Benefits Scavenger Hunt. So, as I said, it's our last time doing this. But first, before we even do the drawing, I want to say thank you to all who participated today and visited our national member benefits partners on the trade show floor today and all throughout the entire conference. A special thank you to GRIP, our newest member benefit company, for powering the scavenger hunt through the GRIP app. And thank you to each and every Farm Bureau member for supporting our member benefits partners. These programs generated over $11 million in total membership savings. Let's give a round of applause for that. So now it's time to come to our prizes. Like I had mentioned earlier, we have a StoneX leather wallet and a $250 Amazon gift card. We have a $500 Grainger credit, and we even have an ambassador from Grainger, Mr. Jim Bullock, to be a part of the photo and give away the prize. And then we also have a Choice Hotels 30,000 points, which equates to about 2 nights in a hotel. So a lot of good stuff coming our way. Now, to do the drawing, we have Kate Thornton from AKA Apple Girl Kate. So let's go ahead and give her a round of applause as she draws our winners. And this will be for the $500 Grainger credit.
All right, we got ourselves a Tyler David. Come up here. And you'll get, what, is that the Grainger? Yes. Okay, $500 credit to Grainger. Congratulations.
All right. Yes. We'll also take pictures right off stage in just a moment as we announce the rest of our winners. Now, our next winner, who's going to be competing or be drawn for the StoneX leather wallet and $250 Amazon gift card, will be.
That's a really hard name for me. Okay, Donzetta Hughes. Donzetta Hughes.
Donzetta Hughes, you can claim your prize right here at the side of the stage. And last but not least, those 30,000 points for Choice Hotels, which is about 2 nights in a hotel.
Sally Humphreys, congratulations.
All right, Sally Humphreys, you can come to the side of the stage and claim your prize. If you are not here at the moment and your name was called, don't worry, you can actually go and claim your prize at the AFBF booth. Is that correct? Yes, AFBF booth, you can claim your prize there. Thank you all for participating once again, and thank you to our wonderful sponsors for making these prizes happen. Thank you all, and have a great time at the last general session.